Merry, 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 merry games, miss. Merry, 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 merry games, miss. Bum, bum. What is up, you guys? It's your boy Rob, Hollow Avarice, back again with some gaming goodness. Merry games, miss, my friend. We have done it. 25 games in 25 days. This has been a treat, a trip, a wild ride. We've had some high highs, some low lows, mostly high highs. It's been generally really solid across the board this year. So, on this, the 25th day of Gamesmas, we have one final game to play. We have done, in the style of the song, the inspiration for this, the 12 Days of Christmas. And I have a canker sore in my tongue, so talking hurts, but I'm going to do it. On the 25th day of Gamesmas, the gamers gave to me a new strange timey tale, an endless space-time loop, a cozy mailman sim, a samurai soap opera, an undead champion, an eldritch puzzle island, a new mystical quest, a tiny harvest god, a thoughtful ocean swimmer, a cutesy ocean diver, a creepy ocean crawler, a Kill Bill-style story, a wacky comedy, another metroidvania, a storybook adventure, basic organizing, a fashion Gathca Genshin, a magic FPS, a Marvel hero shooter, a mystic take on grief, one pair of bros, an indie puppy deer, one roguelike card game, a lame DC entry, and a fantasy sportsball game. Yeah, it's been a trip. So we've done a lot of gaming, and we are here with one more highly lauded game that's been on my list for years. What Remains of Edith Finch. Now, as I'm preparing to dive into... Hey, Dragon Therian, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. As we dive into another brand new game, let me just say I did have several other games on my list prepared to take on. So I think over the next few days, I do have the rest of the week off. I'm going to continue many of the games we started during Gamesmas, but I'm also going to tackle a few extra games that I did not get a chance to play. So I'll say right now, I think over the next week I'm going to try out Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I'm going to finish Call of the Sea. I'm going to try Coffee Talk. I'm going to try Grizz. Night in the Woods. I'm probably going to finish Sifu. Tales of Kenzera, I'm going to do another stream. Thank Goodness You're Here, I'm going to do another stream, absolutely. And Vampire Survivors. So, yeah. A lot of really cool games on tap just for the last few days of Gamesmas. But, not a problem. Hope you enjoy the journey. Yeah, I've heard truly phenomenal things about What Remains of Edith Finch. I love Annapurna as well. They're a really solid publishing studio. who put out almost exclusively bangers. Annapurna Interactive, Neon White, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Outer Wilds, Stray. Oh my god, Stray was one of my top games 2 years ago. Loved Stray. Cocoon, I've heard great things about. Alright, and we are here with What Remains of Edith Finch. Oh, I do hear it's a very potent story. I will say I know this game very well, don't want to spoil. Do I answer questions if they're asked? Absolutely. Not a fan of spoilers, but if you see something that I'm going to miss, absolutely shout it out. I'm completely cool with that.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
I'm completely cool with guided messages.
I lived here until I was 11.
To help me out?
But I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Yeah.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately. I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Oh, that was cool. That the letters scattered. You don't want to ruin this game for anyone.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but
That's cool.
didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Let's go down.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it.
From what
But
I
now
hear,
have
it's a
questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
really potent story game. And after starting the new Life is Strange last night, I'm just in a story game mood, you know?
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
It's definitely setting an atmosphere hard at the start. That is a building right there. So I have the option to go the high road or the low road.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
I will say it's such a normal two-story house, and then
The
just
house
goes
made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were.
creepy.
I was afraid of the house.
Yeah, I get it. I don't want to go in through the dog door. Let's check the front door first before we resort to the dog door.
I heard something moving around in the garage.
Explore extra for other prompts. So you mean like exploring other paths, like going back up that path that we didn't go before? Or go find this frog? There's an awful lot of missing posters down here. Some prompts are hidden and they're not directly one after the other. Again, I'm seeing a lot of these same missing posters all over the place. Ooh, deer! Hey, deer!
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Take both routes to the house. Yeah, there you go. Alright. So it's one of those kind of games. You know what? Hey, I love exploring. So I think I'll dig it. Like, on the whole, how long does the game usually take? Because if it's like a quicker game, I might just replay it a few times, you know? That's not bad. Nah, not speedrunning today. Whenever I do a game for the first time, I love to truly experience it. I'm not gonna rush. Okay. So, Dragon, first opinion. Front door or garage dog door? Front door seems more final. I love exploring. I truly do. But I'm cursed. I'm cursed with efficiency. Whenever I try and explore in video games, you say front door first? Okay. Whenever I try and explore, I always accidentally go the correct way. I always like, hey, there's two paths. I know one of these is going to lead further into the game and one of them is a side path. Let's go to the right. And I'll go and oh, that was the correct way and now I can't go back to the left. I'm cursed with efficiency. of always doing the correct thing.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
Okay. Asked and answered.
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, let me know if there's a true barrier. I have a zoom in. I have 2 zoom ins. Yeah. How is my stream right now? Let me double check my... Saying 60 frames per second. My footer has 0.5% CPU. No drop frames, about 4,000 kilobytes a second. Alright. I've had better stream quality. My internet has been a little rough the past 2 days. Statue. Special interest in the fence. A bit more into the fence.
The house felt like it had always been here. Even the swing set was older than my mother.
That's a swing set? God dang. Oh, it's like wrapped up around the tree, so it's... Statue over there, a small island or like a shipwreck or something. Alright, through the doggy door we go.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11. The power had been turned off the night we left.
I'll say they definitely capture an atmosphere, you know? Oh, that's so classic. We had that growing up. The tennis ball on a string for when you're pulling in. And once the tennis ball hits your front windshield, you know you've pulled to the right place. Oh, that's so... That's so generational. I dig it so much.
For the first time in years,
Eddie, Dawn, Lewis, Milton, Edith. So are we
I
Edith?
felt like I was home.
We abandoned here in 2010. This kitchen is. I mean, I'm not gonna say Hoarder Central, but like... We left the house just with plates out, with dishes
But
out.
instead of a family, there were just memories of one. Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
Again, these must just be just all of the mold. The Book of Mushrooms. In loving memory of Lewis Finch. Eddie, Edith, Dawn, Lewis. So Lewis was my brother. Then wait, who was Milton? Right? Because so Lewis passed. Milton is missing. Edie was our great grandmother, and Dawn was our mother. Okay.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Oh yeah, dang. So we just like left. Who has the window into the garage? Unless the garage was built after.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Is the window open? Did we literally leave a phone plugged into the speaker?
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
After it what? It's a nice TV, but like... using books, not a book stand. I love the use of like real photos that are clearly like altered slightly. Again, it's just, it feels too big. If that makes any sense. Did like the old house like collapse into the ocean or something?
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Okay. So Milton, Orcas Island, Washington, age 11, went missing in 2003, and Lewis died in 2010. Born a little bit before my brother. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of 2010s, so I'm assuming that's when we...
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Did we take anything? It looks like we left everything. This is a... Is this door like caulked and sealed? Oh, that's creepy. But I love the book arch, but the door is incredibly creepy.
After Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got pretty sick of salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Okay. But, like... that's a lot. Right? Barbara Finch.
Great Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara. along with the rest of the house.
I love shadow boxes. They kind of creep me out, but I still love them in concept. Displaying insects. So Barbara Finch was a director.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
I do like a rhinoceros beetle. Scorpions. Oh, creepy. Alright, so first floor is done. Let's head up.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Molly, 1937 to 1947. Well, one, that's not a long time. Two, wasn't the cat named Molly? Oh, I saw the peephole. I was weirded out by the peephole. This door seems very open, though. Let's look around before we go in there.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Alright, hold on. Notes. So. Lewis. Milton. And Edith were all children of Dawn. Lewis is dead. Milton is missing. Dawn is the granddaughter of Edie. Oh, yeah? Alright, well, I'll go back down and double check. Oh, there's a staircase up there.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Edie is related to Odin. Barbara? Okay, let's check Barbara's room.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
Alright, well, let's go back and check that one down in the bottom. Does this door have... This door doesn't have a name on it.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Okay, so there's a library on the first floor. Okay. Let's check out Molly's room.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
So probably Dawn's aunt, one of Edie's children, I would assume. What do I say? And I have this, right? Lewis, Milton, Edith, Dawn, and Sanjay. I'm guessing Dawn and Sandra gave birth to Lewis, Milton, and Edith. Oh. There seem to be no names on this list that aren't dead. Dawn died in 2016, and that's where I got the key from. So Dawn, Gus, and Gregory. They all came from Sam. Edie and Odin. Or no, Edie came from Odin and Ingeborg. Edie and Sven, meanwhile, gave birth to Molly, Barbara, Calvin, Sam, and Walter. Walter and Kay gave birth to Dawn, Gus, and Gregory. Dawn gave birth to Lewis, Milton, and Edith. Got it. There we go. That helps me. And then we named our cat Molly after our great aunt, right? Two greats? Because it was disconnected, but alright. Sven, Hofstad, Finch, and Edie.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
One great, so just great aunt. Two would be the sister to Edie. Okay.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Well, I'm sorry, this is a bathroom. This is a pink fuzzy bathroom. Why does it say Gregory on here? Calvin.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Literally a rope dividing the room down the middle. A little more on Sam's side. A little more room. Well, this...
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Oh, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Could I have gone further upstairs? Because I saw that there was a staircase right here. Oh, never mind.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Alright, on we go. Yep. So Mom literally left with just us because one brother was missing and one brother had passed.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Hey, Brightside, how are you? Yeah? Nice.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door.
Like a limited
Just like I
edition
had no
promo
idea
version is
where all this
kind of
was
sick.
gonna lead.
Orca Island. Oh, this is Molly's room.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
That's so cute.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
I do love the jellyfish plush. Owl masks and animal masks.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
Because Molly was Edie's oldest sister. Doing pretty good. So we're doing a tradition where we're playing a different game every day for the 25 days of Gamesmas, as I call it. And this is our the last game I'm going to be playing. And really looking forward to it.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
Yeah. I would not eat Christopher.
My Halloween candy was all gone. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Hey, thanks for the follow, Mr. Brightside. I appreciate that.
I kept eating and eating.
That's toothpaste?
I ate a lot of things that night.
Is she like
Then I heard chirping outside my window.
dying of
It
consumption?
was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
What now?
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
It was Christmas. Oh yeah, I get that. I get hanging on to collector's editions of stuff.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
So that would be Odin. I can run along here. I'll get you one of these days, bird. Yeah, absolutely.
almost got her.
Let's try to attack from above.
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
Molly, why are you a cat?
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits.
Heck yeah!
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons.
Ugh.
I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
Owls, the reason owls are so fluffy and downy is because it makes them fly incredibly silently. They're basically stealth drones.
A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
What in the hell is this dream sequence?
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals.
Back here, you little punk. Oh my god!
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Go back for more.
Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Am I a sea snake or an octopus? So you got a kraken?
Now I was a monster. And I
Hey, Nunu, how you
smelled
doing?
lovely.
I was a monster. I smelled people. Absolutely, Nunu. You have a good holiday. Happy Christmas and all that.
was big, but I moved real quiet.
What is going on? Let's check down here first.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't. This is weird and creepy. Passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Is this gonna end up with like her eating at the base of her house, eating herself? I don't know.
Sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
This is her bathroom. So I wanna look, is there gonna be berries right there? There are.
I got closer and closer.
The gerbil? Okay, well, let me eat the gerbil.
All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
What? And Molly just happened to die when she was 10?
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Am I finding out the stories of all members of the Finch clan? An incredibly disturbing backstory?
This will be obvious later, but My mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Because she knew the story. All right.
I spent a lot of time in Great Grandma Edie's room.
Yeah, I've seen rocking chair, oxygen tank, a lot of knitting goods. Bob. That's clearly a snake. What? These are all birds. That's an iguana. Named Rob? Hey, I had a pet iguana and my name is Rob. How awesome.
We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom. Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
She knew he was going to die? Murder. Couple turns land into Native Haven. Molly, Barbara, Calvin and Sam, Walter. Those were Edie's siblings. Dawn and Gus and Gregory were Edie's children. Louis, Milton, and Edith were me and my siblings. Okay.
Her room was like a museum.
Let's look around before we dive into another book. Norwegian folktales.
Even in her 90s. Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed.
Dragon kills Finch.
She didn't.
Sven was her husband. Built in 1937. Sven Finch.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
Edie won't go because of a little forest fire.
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
Edith interview, my friend Bigfoot, Sam Metal.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
So I can't look at the people through this side. Alright, Dragon, you killed Sven. Should I go bathroom or viewfinder? I'm gonna guess bathroom.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
Frog. Okay, so I'm guessing that's another door. The key. So let's look at the viewfinder first. Odin, who was her father.
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune. And misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
Okay. Oh.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
He took his house from Norway?
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Okay. No, we don't get to... There's a Secret in the Bathroom by Sven and Edie Finch.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Wild.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
So it was Molly, Barbara, Calvin, and Sam. Calvin Finch died at age 11. The swing, a deer. So it's just like, oh yeah, this is the red bulb. It's a dark room. Oh, this is creepy. Milton was here too. Drawing the swing. Oh, we're in the double bedroom now, so Sam and Calvin.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin.
That's so sad. Calvin just stops marking the door. Orcas Island Regional High School, Cobra Battalion, Bravo Company. Sam Finch. He dreamed of being a soldier and fighting for his country. He was also the film buff. Marine Corps. So he was a hunter. He joined the Marines. Odin Finch National Park.
And that he never talked about him.
That's absolutely a secret passage. Let's look up here first.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
Oh, he was obsessed with space. The futurist.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Gabe Newell? Really? Herb? Rugged? With a broken leg? So is that Sam over there, or is this Sam?
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't.
You still don't know how Barbara died.
I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam, Calvin, dinner's ready.
So that must be Ingeborg.
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
No!
I
Calvin!
told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
No.
I'm not gonna tell you again.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
What is this game?
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Well, who built that thing into the side of, Who built it so it launched directly over a cliff? I mean, it's not even about building a swing on the oldest tree. It's about building a swing that swings directly out to a cliff. I mean, I feel like at some...
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
I see, as soon as he got his letter there for training.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
So I'm guessing this next one leads to Barbara's room. When I go back in there. So I've been up there now, on the outside. I've been in Molly's room. Whose room was that again? Gregory or Walter? Walter's room. Alright, so I know how Calvin died. I'm still a little confused about how Molly died. Hold on. Edith Finch. Molly. Two days after her 10th birthday, she was sent to bed without dinner, decided to eat various non-edibles until dying in her bed. Oh, it's because she ate like those berries? And she was having, what were those crazy dreams? Were they like poison-induced hallucinations or something? Wild. Okay, I was in there. I still don't know what's down in the library. This is Barbara's room now, who is a child actor.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
My Friend Bigfoot. I mean, she clearly won awards for it, so there was some acclaim there. A Barbara Finch doll. Reel. Plates, masks, fan mail.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Going back to being normal. She saw a lot of plays. One was her favorite. Kind of looks Phantom of the Opera-esque. Barbara, did she end up becoming a waitress in a diner? Stole a sign, Barb Street. Was she a rebellious... Oh, she was like a 50s roller skate waitress? Happy birthday, Barbara. Is that a really moldy cookie cake? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 16? Yeah. This does scream rebellious 50s teenager with the 3D glasses. She had a crush on Rick. Center of worst was history. Job rate increased. Barbara. I'm noticing these hand knit doilies everywhere. I'm assuming that was all Grandma, great Grandma Edie.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
They literally made a pulp comic about her death.
As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orca's Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
Well, now I know how to get
20
into the
minutes
basement.
later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box.
I like how there's the hand icon on it too. Oh, is this because they want me to do it? Oh, that's so creepy.
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Did they get the right to use this music?
She found Rick's crutch and
And
imagined
blood?
the worst.
A bloody handprint. Pool table. Well, that's...
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Oh, wait. It's the hand... It's the... Is that our... It's Sven's bloody handprint. From cutting his hand on the table saw. Why are you jittering, bag? Dun, 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 dun,
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Trying to
Barb,
scare her.
relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him
Deservedly
out,
pissed.
but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Oh, this is how I still have my weapon? Are those cat eyes there? when Walter's room's right there. That's all blocked off.
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hookman, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he knew he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
This is like urban legend gold. To Molly's room.
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
Slept on the roller skate and fell overboard.
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Huh. Go back and look. He's not there anymore.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
I'm not seeing him in here.
Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara.
But killed from behind.
She heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
A surprise?
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were,
The
and
fans?
she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent.
She like
Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately...
she like
so
killed
did
by her fans or something?
Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real
Her ear?
eerie tale.
Well, that's incredibly friggin' creepy.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
So, she was definitely murdered. If her severed ear was found. I feel like a lot of that's apocryphal. Hopefully we get a little bit more on what actually happened to her.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Yep. So the music box will get us into the basement. Still don't know how to get into the library, though. I want to check one thing, actually. That railing... So someone did go over the railing. Walter's bed was right here. Edie went that way.
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Someone toppled over. I mean... It's curious. Oh, it's the wind blowing through the vent there. I'm like, what was that noise? Is it a storm outside? I mean, it doesn't look
I
particularly...
wonder if that comic was right about there being a key inside the music box near the basement.
stormy. Keep turning. Keep turning. I mean, and Rick supposedly disappeared that same night. So, I mean, there's the very real possibility that maybe a lot of that was true, and that's what Walter said, and she was murdered by Rick, who was an obsessed fan of hers. You know, Sven was a woodworker and
Mom
carver.
said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
The dragon. The model of the slide. I'm looking for like traces of blood. Looks like it's been cleaned over the years.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
Fridge. There's the sandbag. The old
I thought
1-2.
maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Secret door in the back of the fridge.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone.
Time to find out
She
more
said
about
after
Walter.
Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
A bunker?
If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Is this... Oh, God, this is where Walter ended up? In a apocalypse bunker? Like, this is doomsday prepper stuff. Jars and jars of peanut butter, preserves, cereal, soup, propane and propane accessories, bottles of water, bathroom, all-in-one shower toilet, right? Yeah. The power still works down here, though. The power's out in the rest of the house. Microwave sink. Spain, Mexico, China, France, India, Thailand, Russia, Brazil. So he did travel. Dillweed, oregano, pepper, so and he cooked. He worked in electronics. March 2005. Oh, yeah. So he died after Milton. He was literally living under us the entire time? Oh, that's weird. We left here in 2010. It's a fake view of a mountain lake. That's a crutch. The crutch maybe that his sister used to fight off her attacker. Or Rick's crutch that he left behind after murdering... That's suspicious. That's weird. Because we just heard a story about, and we experienced fighting off with a crutch. Oh, that's weird. Walter, 2005.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
30 years.
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
What
But
is
after a few
going
days,
on?
I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow.
So you see it, 1976.
But if you wait long
Why is it
enough,
shaking?
you get used to anything.
Noon.
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
What? Just eating his cans of peaches every day?
And then one day, everything just
2005.
Whatever
No
that
earthquake.
thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or
I like
maybe
the
just got
reflection of the
tired
words
being
on the
afraid.
clock. In the...
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
Yeah, that one side's blocked off. I gotta see if that... Again, it's more books. Stories. Weird. Concord. I can't play Concord anymore.
I know it's
been
out there
discontinued.
somewhere.
The thing that killed your sister?
Whatever killed Barbara
Yep.
and Molly and Calvin.
Is this where all my refuse ends up, down there?
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food.
He died right before he got
I
out.
don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I
Landslide.
can already imagine the sun on my face.
He got hit by a train? Oh god, the earthquakes were a train passing by every day.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
The monster on the other side of the wall was a friggin' train? And he was insane and dug through a tunnel and got run over by a truck. There was a model
I'm sure
train.
my mom was trying to protect me.
He had a model and there was a train car in his room. There was a train car in his room. Painted on the wall. What the hell, game? Okay. So Molly was poisoned. Barbara, I'm gonna say Barbara was killed by Rick, question mark, but definitely murdered. Calvin fell to his death. And Walter had a train run on him. Sorry. My question is, I keep seeing Milton's drawings everywhere. Is the twist going to be that Milton's alive? And like...
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house...
Barbara Finch, child starts, psychic self-protection, echoes from afar. There's like train tracks right there, toy train tracks. So he knew what train tracks were.
I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
Brown rice. A lot of brown rice.
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
This is where all the garbage ended up.
Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Now let's look out for trains, Barbara. Or,
Now that
Edith.
there's only one of us left. Or maybe 2.
Stay to the
I
side.
thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem.
Okay, I mean, these look overgrown, so I don't think
Maybe
any
we
trains
believed
run through
so
here anymore.
much in a family curse. We made it real.
Yep, here's a memorial to Walter. So they knew what happened to him. And if that's that close to the track, you know this train is shut down. Oh, well. Yeah, I think it's fair to say the train is shut down.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
Is that a chair? Are those a bunch of chairs? Now, there's a thought that has crossed my mind. This game's all about stories, and Edith is seeing her family stories while writing and narrating. Alright, I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna write down my theory.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Solar lights.
But I thought you should know about your family.
Is that a Barbara totem pole with a crutch that she used as a weapon?
And the history you're a part of.
Are those the different family members? Who's... That's... Yeah, oh my god, that's Calvin on the swing. Molly turning into an owl. What is out there? Is that the old house? There's the swing. Oh, right there, right there.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
I mean, can I swim? You know? Hold on. This seems incredibly dumb. Can I just grab a canoe and or kayak and kayak out? Orcas Island. Are there killer whales around because it's called Orcas Island? Let's just see if I can... Okay, I get stopped at the edge of the ocean. I was like, can I swim out to that dock and then swim out to what I think is the house? They mentioned the house that Odin tried to bring here from wherever they moved from.
And when you look at the house,
We haven't gone
that
up
history
yet.
of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it.
Oh, so I have to go that way, so let's go this way first. So this is where Walter died. Can I head over to Odin's grave? Is that where I'm heading now? There's a bike here. That looks like it's in good condition and a lantern.
What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
You know? A pretty dang good question. Hey Tito, how you doing tonight?
It's embarrassing for
Merry
me to
Christmas.
admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Zerpy, Lurpy, Furpy, Chirpy, Burpy, Derpy, and Derpy Jr. Charlie, Tucker, Daisy, Lucy, Coco, Zoe. Christopher was the fish. We saw Christopher. Shadow, Shotzi, Oliver, and Bob. Bailey. A frog.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Molly Finch. A cat with wings. Oh. And we eventually named our cat Molly, because she died thinking she was a cat and an owl and all of that. Calvin, who wanted to fly. Sven, who died with his own construction. Right? The thing he was working on collapsed on him. Literally, their dreams are what killed them. We don't know what happened to Edie yet. Walter. Was that literally him walking to freedom? Barbara. Her fame is what killed her. If I'm right, and it was Rick, who was an obsessed fan, maybe lashed out at her, you could say it was her fame that killed her.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
So that was... Edie, Sven, and young Molly. As Odin was lost in the house. That's absolutely that. That's 100% the ruins of the house.
Poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Ooh.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from.
So we don't know yet
Her dad had
about
been
the
pretty
mom's
strict, but
brothers.
it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Gregory, Sam, and Gus. And they were the... Oh, Mom. Okay. So we do not yet know what happened to Sam, who was Calvin's twin brother and our grandfather. And Gus and Gregory were her two brothers. So Dad and the two brothers. Pinwheel by him. Nothing really on Gregory, and an American flag for Dad. Or Dawn's dad. Milton. Again went missing, no date of death.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Lewis died in 2010 with a crown, and that must be our father, Sanjay.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Double check, make sure there's nothing under there. Walter's story, I think, is the most wild so far.
But looking back on it now,
Is this why there were chairs in the trees? Because it was like a treehouse that collapsed or something?
if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
When I was what now? Alright, like a teenager?
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
All these lanterns look brand new is what I'll say.
They were both pretty intense.
Sam, 1950 to 1983. Sam, he was Marines. I'm guessing that's Sam, and I'm guessing that's Dawn, our mom.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
So that would be Edie. No, that would be Sam and his wife. Then Dawn, Gregory, and their third brother. Sorry. Oh, was he a war? In addition to being a soldier, he was a war photographer.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
taxidermist. There, Kay. So Kay was his wife. That's right.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly imperfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. It's still freezing, though.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee. Hey!
That's a keeper.
He's looking for what I was supposed to be.
Take a picture of you.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph? Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map. You don't need to waste any more film on me, kiddo. Let's see. Maybe.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of it.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Let me get behind you.
Am I teaching her how to hunt?
to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Now keep yourself squared up, elbows down, like we practiced. Whenever you're ready. Great shot, Dawn. I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
She's clearly very upset.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Well, damn! Just like his brother, he fell.
Of all these stories,
Oh my
that's the
God,
one
this
I
is-
wish most that my mom had told me.
He forced her to hunt, which she clearly didn't want to do. Okay, with the exception of Edie, we have that entire generation done.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Gregory. Dawn, Gus, and Gregory. Sweep and trash, mop mow yard, Greg be a baby. Jump rope, jumping jacks, pocket crutches, run to mailbox and back, raise flag, breakfast, quiet time. No playing outside without permission, no answering doors for strangers, no messes after dark, all chores before dark, respect others. Oh my God. He was prepared. Dawn's the only one who left a light on. Looks like she lived the longest. She had a helmet. Oh my God. He was one. Oh, divorce contract? Kay and Sam. Hold on. No, I do want to read that. A lawsuit filed against you 20 calendar days after the summons.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was she could have told us about the world he saw.
Oh no.
There's so much I don't understand. About Gregory. About everything.
She left him in the bathtub. She redid the plug.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too.
I mean...
Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Left a 1-year-old in the tub alone. It's kind of rough. That's rough. That's real rough.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Don't know what happened to Gus yet.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get. Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
I mean, he forced his daughter to be the son.
I can't imagine what it was like for her to lose 2 sons after she'd already lost 2 brothers. I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
4 poems for Gus.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Did Sam get remarried?
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Hold on.
When the time
Odin in the
came,
house.
Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
I mean, he left Gus outside alone.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Monarch, Anarch. He had little spike things. He had a little mohawk. He was a little rebel. Oh, got a windmill and he died in a storm. Is that a kite? Oh my god. He sympathy. Okay. So maybe he was struck by something during the storm.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Orcas Island High School. College application deadlines. 10 ways to teach critical thinking, religion, science, math, history. Copy passport. Meet with relief rep. After school teaching. Pack. Fly to India. July 1987. I'm not seeing a thing for Dawn here. Are we not going to learn what happened to her yet? Oh, but she came back and...
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later.
Solar panels. We're getting closer to the top.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again.
Lewis, mint, thyme, sage, and basil. Milton built a tower of buckets. Edith. Me. Dawn. More regimented, more...
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Is this like a school? Were we homeschooled? Class pet.
But it didn't last.
It's a gorgeous view. Our family history, fact or fiction. Lewis rules. Barbara, Molly, Sam, Calvin, Gregory, Gus, Sven, and Odin. Doing a report on Grandpa Finch, or Great-Grandpa Odin. To teach and learn. Oh, she was a writer, too. She was, like, all about... So I'm the baby, I'm guessing, so... Milton. Lewis, who was wearing a little crown, and there was a crown on Lewis's grave. And I'm guessing that's baby me. Fairly modern setup. Laptop. Relief efforts end in disaster. Odin Finch, the myth, history, the curse.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
This, his own room. The beginning of the end.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except
Look at all
Lewis.
people's. So he was 22. I want to check something. So I seem to have found a way upstairs, but not through the house proper. I'm gonna look for, keep my eye on the floor. Because one of these should be an entrance to the actual house, right? Because the floor of the actual house was... No, there's no actual entrance into the house. That's weird, right? There's no way to access the third floor of the house from the inside. Like when I was on my way between Sam and Calvin's room and Barbara's room, I found a path that led to the second floor again. But I haven't seen anything like that here. A secret door to the third floor. Alright, let's check Finch House, third floor. Yeah. Okay, so what is the basement? Nothing about the third floor. Yeah, I'm not seeing any way to access the third floor. Okay, so I'm not crazy. I might be, but I'm probably not. Okay, let's go check out Milton's room. Missing Milton. Then we'll go check out what I assume to be Lewis's room. As I know it was. It was the trippy hippie room. He was an artist. It's a door and a footprint.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
Slides. He's gonna pull it. Okay, this is a dope room. Bamboo. That's actually a really pretty print. I like that a lot. It just is 1992.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Is that a boat? I feel like there's more. I mean, since I'm already, you know, in for a penny and all that. All right, Milton's. Okay, so there was something from Milton. I just missed it. So apparently Milton does have a story. Let's just go back and do one more look around. It'll probably be in the upper section. I could not imagine. It's a really cool room. It's an undoubtedly super cool room. I could not see myself doing a pulley every morning to get to the other half of my room. It's a flip book. That's you. The door.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
I like how we're not drawing Milton as he was drawn, like we are for everyone else. We're not drawing a realistic interpretation. We're drawing him as he saw himself.
Then she sealed the doors.
So she sealed the doors after Milton's disappearance. This was his escape.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
He found something? That's morbid.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar.
Pop.
That part of him lived on.
Hookah. Bottle cap. Ooh, he's a gamer? Ah, he had Wonderland Turbo. What did he... Oh, there you go. Damn, Lewis, alright. He had his own fridge. PCR.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Okay, that's his... He had toys, he had beer, he had a lot of DVDs. Dual monitor, cool guy. Institute of
Dear
Psychology.
Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to...
The Red King, off with his head?
wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small. Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats and toads.
This is weird.
And things that have not names.
Things that have not names.
He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
I mean, we've all had
Like a whole
monotonous
new Lewis.
jobs where we let our minds wander while we just
So I let
do
him
the
go
work
on.
in the background.
I
But the
even encouraged.
imagination's getting more and more.
It seemed very promising at first.
I'm not even
He
seeing
told
the
me
work
he'd made
anymore.
a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He
Most
built the city up
imaginative name.
slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
I kind of wish I could go this in depth.
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds,
You liked it
even
better?
the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished.
Off with their heads.
He held held an election for mayor. And he won.
Very
They
Mario
begged him to
coded.
stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis.
Well, that would make sense.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
He was just working, trapped in his own world. Didn't even recognize that his mother was there. I see her hands still there.
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a beautiful prince.
Yeah.
The prince was on his own quest for sinister serpents. He followed the sound of his
it's gotta be an electric sitar. That just sounds dope. Come on.
electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
Don't even see anything else anymore.
He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Conqueror, an emperor, a god.
For someone
What's a
who'd
king
never
to a
known
god?
success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
The door to the Golden Palace.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Not even moving fish, just...
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him.
Molly! Cat!
His prince waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
Oh, this has got me so worried. I mean, this guy's gotta...
Bend down his head.
Yeah. The crown.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Emily Newth.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Again, the question is raised. Who is this book being written for? We still don't know what happened to Mom or Edie, right? Those are the two.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
My room.
I wish we'd stayed.
Packing peanuts.
But I understand why we left.
I have my own fridge up here? My own water filter? Dang, the pipes went high in this house. Get up. I mean, I guess we're old money, so...
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
Oh, wait, is this Mom's room, not our room? Happy 90th birthday. Sanjay Kumar, evac specialist. I mean, this family has just suffered every loss imaginable.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another.
This is my
All
room.
that's left now was to tell you about that last night.
We know Edie, died the same year that Lewis died. Oh, I can see I have a baby bump.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
And these plates were still there.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
So I know one more area now.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house.
The curse.
Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
A field of people. Available. The mysteries of death and the afterlife.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
Oh, God.
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground? There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean.
It's gonna be a tsunami, but...
They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years.
That was the dock that was out here?
It smelled awful.
I can imagine.
Oh, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wandered.
That's why you drag one foot. You literally drag one foot the entire way and literally leave yourself a trail.
Things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
Bowie is just sitting on top of the old house.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
Gone as in...
After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot.
Well...
She got better for a while, and then she didn't.
October
And then I was
2016.
alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you.
Pregnant.
I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes.
Oh, I like that line. That was a good line.
And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
This is literally inside.
This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Giving birth. I think that was literally
This is where your story begins.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Yep. When I first got to the beach, as soon as I found out about Walter, my guess, Edith is dead. It's literally what remains of Edith Finch. Oh my god, what a great story. Shirley Dallas, rest in peace. Ian Dallas. Is this a story he wrote for a family, for his mother, maybe? Hey, Vesage, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. How you doing tonight? Everything ends. Finish all the stories. Yeah, hey, I appreciate it. Man, what a great story. This is one of your favorite games. This is your favorite game ever? Oh, man. I can see why. It's a really powerful story. It's just such a straight up beautiful narrative. We didn't quite find out a lot about Milton. But just the story of this family is beautiful. Edie is based on Shirley Dallas. She carried books home and was a librarian. That's cute. That's very sweet. Thanks, Johan. See Johan's name in the ending credits. I'll just let the credits play then. Maybe I'll get another one. And Johan, we know Johan was the name of the first child of Odin and Ingeborg, who died with Ingeborg in an accident, right? Or in the old village. And then Odin left to take the house to the new land with Edie and Sam and young Molly. Hey, oh, no, you're a bot. That's okay, though. This story messed me up. Barbara's story? I'm so curious if there's more about that story. You know what? I'm gonna... You're in for a surprise. The previous game... Oh, this is the team that did on... I've played Unfinished Swan. I did that for the Switch years ago. Is loosely connected to this and hints at what happened with Milton. It's a spiritual sequel, but not at all connected with Edith Finch. Huh. Well, maybe I need to go back and replay Unfinished Swan. The old king is Milton. And oh my god, Milton's room, it was all the ink paintings. It was all the black and white ink paintings, which was the entire style of Unfinished Swan. That makes sense. That's so cool. Yeah, that's really cool. All right, I'll put that on my list to replay Unfinished Swan. I mean, I have a lot of other games on the list right now, but I'll add replaying Unfinished Swan to this. Oh, it's art and theme from the game. Yeah, the Edith Finch team. The end. It's such a small team to do this. I'll blow your mind with Barbara theories. Hinted that her boyfriend killed her. That's what I thought. I theorized that because they said her boyfriend was never seen again, and we saw the crutch in Walter's bunker. So I thought that maybe it was Walter that killed her, and the whole idea is it was the fans that killed her, and it was her fame that killed her, and her boyfriend was supposedly obsessed with her being an actress. We know the comic hints parts of the story is real. We know her fans killed her. I'm close. Because I'm getting that parts of it are because Walter told this story and Walter overheard because he was hiding under his bed. So he heard fighting. We saw the banister was broken. So we know that part of it happened there, that like someone fought it off. Hey, Bacon, Merry Christmas, my friend. How you doing tonight? Her boyfriend was her biggest fan. Theory, and that the Beasticon fans had a taste for stardom. Oh, you think all they found of her was her ear? Maybe they invaded the home? That's really morbid. Select Edith to play from the beginning. Here's the biggest catch. Comic says that there was a monster in the fridge. Walter, ooh. Nah, you're all good, bud. Oh, and this lets me replay all their stories? Not bad, 4 out of 12. Catch 2 rabbits with only 2 swoops. That's for Molly's story. Maybe Walter invited her to prank her, and she tripped over her skates and went over the banister. Ooh. That's really dark. But then why was her boyfriend never seen or heard from again? Let the drunken sailor finish his song. Clear all the balls off the pool table. Knock all the letters of Gregory's name into the bathtub. Play Calvin's story again. Take a picture of a rabbit outside FINCH National Park. Replay a story after completing a game. Wow. Yeah. Or Walter... What the question is, why did Walter hide away from the world, too? If Rick, because boyfriend's story is fake, the comic has intimate details of the house and basement what no one would know. Edie made the comic out of the tragedy to make her famous one last time. That's cool. The story also, if Rick did kill Barbara because she kicked him out, and Walter maybe overheard Rick come back and kill. That's why Walter believed in monsters and secluded from the world and wanted to hide away. You suspect Molly's diary was also written by Edie? That's... Oh, man, that's dark. All of these stories were just so dang sad. Game does a great job keeping it fake. Yeah, I guess the ending, as soon as we finished Walter's story and exited the cave and were outside, and just some of the stuff that Edith was saying, it was such a good build-up, though. Gregory's story was incredibly sad. Lewis and Milton just getting lost. It kind of seems like Barbara seemed pretty well adjusted. She was just a little longing for stardom. Gus was a little rebellious but seemed well adjusted. Yeah, it seems like Edith was the only well-adjusted member of this family. Yeah. Oh yeah, we did see that tipped over a wine bottle. And there was an open case of meds in, I think it was in her room. In her bathroom, maybe. Because she did talk about going back to the house. And the keeping vague stuff, they just said the van came the next morning and she was gone. Did it mean she was physically gone as if she walked into the ocean? Or was she gone as in had already passed because she mixed alcohol and medication? I mean, like... I think I know what the curse was, and it's not supernatural. And I think it ties in with the theme. Sam was as sane as Walter, but unlike hiding, he went overboard. Tried to challenge the curse and join the army to prove he was alive. I think I know what the curse was, though, and it's something incredibly mundane and normal. And I think it's the curse of lineage. Of family, of defying family. Odin lost his family and wanted to literally wrench his lineage, wrench his home, and drag it across the sea. And that killed him. Sam was trying to literally force his, like what you said, challenging this curse, his heroism, his bravery, his zest for life. He was trying to force that on Dawn. And to capture that moment, he fell to his death. Exactly the same as his brother did. Molly died because her parents were literally starving her. They sent her to a room without food and she was so hungry she ate poisonous berries. Dawn, obviously Dawn's guilt is there, with Dawn taking Edith away from Edie, leading Edie to end her own life in some manner. Dawn's incredibly oppressive nature literally wrenching Edith from the house, And you could say Edith is passing on this legacy to her child as a message to not fall in the trap of lineage. Hey, here's all the stories of our family, but you can move on from it. Trauma dumping, lineage, Edie's guilt passing on to the family, constantly being reminded of death. Yeah, Edie literally immortalized every room. The rooms were never used again after those people passed. Molly's room was never used again. Barbara's room stayed as it did. Every room stayed as it did until when they died. And they literally, instead of reusing the room, they literally just added more to the house, kept building upwards and outwards. Literally put a boat on top of the house to preserve the past, to forcibly preserve the past, and which kind of justifies Dawn's overbearing thing of literally sealing off the rooms to prevent Edie from going back down that rabbit hole, going back down that. Dawn literally sealing the past away. You could say lineage is passed off by Edie too. Molly's death and Calvin swinging the cliff, yeah. She let Dawn's family live in the shaky treehouse because all the rooms were literally shrines. They weren't rooms, they were shrines. And we literally found in each room the doilies that had been knitted by, even right here she's doing needlepoint in this image, where the needle points with everyone's treating them like gravestones. They were literal shrines to those family members in each of their rooms. And even people that came into the family, Ingeborg came into the family and died with their firstborn child. Sven came into the family and was literally crushed by his own dreams. Sanjay died. We don't really know a lot about Sanjay. Kay got out, but after the loss of a child. She even made siblings live with their dead siblings' memorials. Yeah. Sam had to live in the room with Calvin's other half of the room unchanging, and they're like, hey, as soon as he turned 18, he left and didn't look back. Because you made him live in a room with his dead brother's stuff. Dawn and Sam both ran away as soon as they turned 18. Wow. Like, for the majority of the game, you see Dawn as this oppressive, antagonistic force who's sealing away pieces of their family, pieces of the story, and Edie was this noble steward of the family's history and stories for the future generations like Edith. But Dawn was literally, oh wow, that's it. Like, Dawn did not want to return home. And in returning home, giving Milton his own castle is what led him to his flights of fancy and running away. And that led to Lewis's drug dependence, substance abuse, the mental issues that clearly run in this family. That she fed Walter's paranoia by supplying him, not giving him mental support. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. The mole man living under the house was Walter. Barbara's comic, Molly's journal, made Dawn write a poem for Gus, made Sam write a poem for Calvin. Oh man. Damn, Edie, you suck! I mean, clearly she didn't. But literally as soon as she landed here, she lost her father. We know her brother's not on this family tree, but we know Odin and Ingeborg had one other child before Edie, Johan, who passed away with Ingeborg. So Edie, in quick succession, lost her father, then lost Molly, then lost Calvin. Oh, sorry, then lost Barbara. Then a year later lost Calvin. Then lost her infant grandson. Then her second grandson. Then her son. Then her great-grandson ran away or went missing. Then Walter wandered out because he was so tired of being oppressed and trapped. Walter's story, I think, messed me up the most. That it was literally a train track that kept him trapped underground for 30 years. Then Lewis ended his own life. Then Dawn and Edith left. We don't quite know how Edith went, but we know she wasn't that much older, right? Where did that gravestone say? She died in 2017? So that means the child had just been born when she passed away. So maybe... Oh, did she pass away during childbirth, maybe? You think that's what... yeah, all the windows in the house are locked. The sunken house. Even the pets have memorials. That's right. In her room, all the cages are again, shrines to the animals. Everything was labeled. Everything had, like, gravestones. Even the doors with the peepholes on them had placards like a gravestone would with a date of birth and a date of death. That's what kicked it off. Her fetishizing death in creative outlets, surrounding family with it until they got reckless and careless about death. Edith died at 17 years and 11 months old, 3 months after Dawn died. So it was right. She probably died during childbirth then. Because literally that last scene of her talking to her child was her clearly child being born. But that's the end of the cycle. She gave her child this journal to pass on the family story, but she did not glorify death like Edie did. She revealed the truth. Assuming the game is set in 2017, when she died, assuming the kid was 10 years old when he visited the city, that would make it around 2027? Yeah, possibly. So he learned the truth of his mother, but his mother, Edith, wasn't there. And was, again, incredibly well adjusted, but... So I think what remains of Edith Finch is the story of this family, and breaking free from the lineage of death. That is powerful, man. What an awesome game. Man. No, I this was great. I think I might replay some of these stories just for the sake of some achievements. So these are both Molly. This is Barbara. Gregory, Calvin, Dawn, or no, Sam. And just replay. Oh, man. Wild. You've seen it 500 times. You'll see it again. Yeah. Oh, no. Awesome game. Her passing of the story might just have kickstarted it, too. The stories themselves could be seen as a curse. Plus, the kid had a cast on his arm. Ooh, I didn't notice that. Man. Nah, it was an awesome game. I'm really glad I played this. Which I think means that's where I'm going to have to end for tonight. I'm going to have to call it. That being said, I have nothing on tap for the next 3 days. So, I know my whole bit here, the whole spiel of the outfit and everything was that I wanted to do 25 games over the course of 25 days, which I have done, and I think has gone incredibly well. There was maybe like 3 games that I did not love and 1 game that I actively disliked out of this entire list. But on the whole, it's been an awesome month playing these games. That being said, I showed off earlier that I also downloaded 5 or 6 other games that were on my list that I did not play. This month I played as a bonus episode, because I like to have VODs for every day on my Twitch and on my YouTube. Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which was a game that came out this year, Balatro, which was a lot of fun, Neva, which was beautiful, Tales of Kinzara Zhao, the remake of Brothers, Marvel Rivals, Immortals of Avium, Infinity Nikki, A Little to the Left, Plucky Squire, Animal Well, Thank Goodness You're Here, Sifu, Dredge, Dredge was 14, Dave the Diver, Under the Waves, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, Raji, Call of the Sea, Dead Cells, Like a Dragon Ichin, Lake, Returnal, and yesterday I did Life is Strange Double Exposure. Yeah, I was on just a weird water kick for 3 days in a row where I did Dredge, Dave the Diver, Under the Waves. I just thought it would be funny to put those 3 games back to back, and I had a lot of fun with them. I've done a little bit more with Dredge and Dave the Diver, and I actually finished Under the Waves. So I think tomorrow, what I'm going to do is maybe finish a bunch of these games. So maybe I'll finish Call of the Sea, Thank Goodness You're Here, and I'll do maybe another playthrough of another episode of Life is Strange, and a little bit more of Tales of Kinzara Zhao. So I think that's what I'll do tomorrow. I'll do those 4 games tomorrow. And then maybe on the 27th, or today technically, because it's the 26th already. So later today I'll do those 4 games. Then on... What day is today? That's how... When I get on break, I just lose track of time. Okay, yeah. On Friday, I'll do some more games like Vampire Survivors. What were some of the other games I downloaded as backups? Bloodstained, Coffee Talk, Night in the Woods, and Vampire Survivors. I'll finish Thank Goodness You're Here. I'll play more Tales of Kinzara. I'll play more Sifu. I'm definitely going to play more Life is Strange. Oh, I'm going to play Grease, which is from the studio that did Nefa. Yeah, I'm really excited with how this turned out, though. So, you know what? Vess, thank goodness you're here for stopping by. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate the follow. I also, a couple shout-outs. Dragon Therian for keeping me company at the beginning of this game and giving me a little guidance. Mr. Brightside for stopping by and the follow. Nunu, just for stopping in to say hey. It was really great to talk to you yesterday. It's great you came back today. Herb, always amazing. Tito, always incredible. Bacon, you're amazing. Really glad you guys all stopped by for this. My final Gamesmas game. That obviously is not going to stop my gaming because I have the rest of the week off. And a good chunk of next week. Man. This was a fun month. Alright. Well, Vess, everyone else, may your gaming be great. Thank you so much. Until tomorrow, stay awesome. Peace.